you get this menu over here. So when I attach to this process, it's actually going to allow me to suspend, resume, and terminate that process. Make sense? So don't do normal debugging. In fact, if I come out here and we run this, you'll see everything is running. We come up over here, and we're waiting for this thing to go to suspend. We'll wait here forever because it's attached to the debugger. Okay? So when you go back and you try that later on and you're trying to test out your life cycle, you'll remember this little conversation we had. So what I'm going to do, we've got a couple different options here. You'll see I've got suspend and resume. Suspend and shut down is basically a terminate. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to suspend. So I hit suspend. You can see now we're inside of our debugger. So we're going to go ahead and set this variable. And the app is suspended. I want to go ahead, and you'll notice here, if I come up, nothing is going on. Nothing's ticking. It's not taking away any CPU cycles, not draining the battery. None of that stuff is happening. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, continue this, and it's going to resume. And now you'll notice the elapsed time is at 60 seconds, but our ticks are at 45 now. So I didn't take any CPU cycles in between that time. And you can see the suspension and the resume, both of those have been recorded because we hit that event. Now if I terminate this, and then we run it, you can see the last cold launch when we were terminated, the last run status was termination, was at 251. So that's how you would do it in C#. A nice little example of how we're not taking any CPU cycles out. I'll show you how you would do it in JavaScript. So inside of JavaScript, looks like any other web app. Things are laid out in an MVC fashion. So I've got all my controllers here. Here's my view. And then I've got my CSS for layout. If I come in here into default HTML, you'll see the same exact content, but I'm using MS Grid, which is a candidate standard that Microsoft submitted. It allows you to do rows and columns for layout. I could have done any kind of layout that I wanted. I just chose to do grid. It's doing the same exact thing you saw before: elapsed time, ticks, status, and suspension. Default.js is the JS file I use for all of my code behind. So you'll see I've got the event handlers right here. I'm going to go ahead and add one for suspending, resuming, and activation. On my suspension handler, I'm creating a variable for last suspension.